There isn't anyone out there that can say that they are the perfect backpacker. We've all made dumb mistakes. We've all forgot gear. We've all done something incredibly stupid on trail. It's just the way of backpacking. The important thing to learn from these dumb mistakes is how to prevent them in the future. And I think sharing these mistakes with the community is better as a whole because it can help people just completely avoid the mistakes that have already been made. Many people have this same topic out on their respective channels, and I am going to throw my hat into the ring today. To kick this video off, we are going way back several years to my first year of real backpacking, when I first started doing longer mileages than 6 to 8 miles for a weekend trip. I was getting out of the car camping thing. I was getting out of the comfort zone of camping behind my house, and I was looking to do bigger miles. I had planned on a 70-mile through hike of a trail in southeastern PA known as the Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail. It's my first through hike ever, and it really holds a lot of sentimental value to me to this day. I actually really want to go hike that trail again, come to think of it, but I was really lacking in the clothing insulation department. This was when I was anti-down gear. I had a synthetic sleeping bag. I had bought a synthetic jacket from an REI clearance sale for like, I think $15, $20. And I thought I would be fine with that, honestly. Between the jacket and layering with my heavier North Face rain jacket, I thought I'd be fine. So along comes the trip in late September. I think September 21st, I stepped foot on the trail, and I was fine the first day, even though it had rained and thunderstormed on me the first night. The rain jacket that I had was a North Face jacket. It was pretty old. Come to think of it, there's probably no DWR on it anymore after that, and it soaked through the first day, maybe within 4 hours, I would assume. And that jacket remained wet throughout most of my second day. It was pretty cold. I was pretty uncomfortable. I was not having a very good time, and really the only thing that saved me that night from shivering was the fact that the Laurel Highlands have these great shelter systems along the way. There's like 8 or 9 shelter areas that you go to. You have a reservation and you can stay in them. The cool part about these shelters also is that they have a nice big fireplace right in the front. Kind of blocks most of the wind, but the wind can still come in from the sides.
Cotton ball soaked in petroleum jelly is my favorite fire starter. Works almost every time. Let me get this going, and it's actually really chilly here.
So my plan was to just have a fire most of the night, and they have kind of like dry wood underneath the restroom pavilions. It's a pretty nice first through hike area. It kind of takes all the major edges off of backpacking for a newbie like me. And I was still cold. I was freezing. The temperature rating on the bag was supposed to be a comfort rating of 35. That was not the case. I had not tested it properly, and the jacket probably only added maybe 5 to 10 degrees of warmth. I was absolutely chilled to the bone all night. I got up several times to stoke the fire and just sit there, and it was just not a very safe thing to do. The following morning, it was freezing. It was so cold. I had my jacket on. I still couldn't put my rain jacket on because it was wetted out. Now, after that second day, the weather did finally warm up and I was perfectly fine. However, I really dodged a bullet there. Had I been staying in a non-shelter area that didn't have the fireplace, I would have been shivering all night, and no one wants to do that. It's the most miserable thing in the entire world when you're backpacking. So always make sure to go out, test your gear, see what it can actually go down to, have a place, a local state park, something easy to get to that you can easily get back to your car and bug out if needed. My second dumbest mistake happened on my 2019 Appalachian Trail through hike. I had made it a couple hundred miles and I was on day 2 of the Great Smoky Mountains section of the AT. I had almost made it to the shelter that I was planning on staying at. I decided to pull over and have some lunch right before that, and I met a ridge runner that was just making sure that everybody was okay. You'll find several people along the trail, especially in the winter months, just to make sure people are okay and to check permits, make sure that there's no crazy stuff happening to people, and ensure that the shelters are being taken care of. So these ridge runners, they typically provide really good information because they know the trail really well, and your first instinct is to really trust what they have to say. You know, that's their job to check in on the trail and see how things are going. So this ridge runner in particular was telling about a character that was up ahead of us at the shelter that I was planning on staying at. And he said that this guy was talking crazy, he was talking nonsense. He claimed that he was a triple crowner and that he had hiked, you know, thousands and thousands of miles. And he just got a bad vibe from him. So he just started telling everybody and warning. I was like, hey, you might want to pass up the next shelter and kind of avoid this guy. He seems kind of dangerous, etc., etc. Really talked this hiker up to be a kind of a monster. Now, when I got to the shelter, I did see this character that he was talking about, this hiker, and I kept my distance. I stayed away, I waved hello, and I kind of stayed at the other corner of the shelter and avoided eye contact, everything that I could possibly do to make sure that I was safe based on the information that I had from the Ridge Runner. Come the following day, I'm hiking out with Ty and Co-op and Oates and all my Tramley people from the Smokies, and this guy is following us. He is waiting for us to go to the privy. He's standing there, and I just started getting weirded out. So we started just kind of hanging back. We were told that this guy was doing some illegal activities, etc., etc., etc. Well, fast forward a few weeks, and I found out this guy's trail name was Nope. And over the course of my thru hike, I realized that this ridge runner had no reason to talk about Nope the way he did. These stories I had heard from many other thru hikers were completely false. They were, I guess, weirded out because he talks a bit funny because he's deaf. Simple thing there, right? After talking to Nope, I realized that this dude was literally my idol. He hikes for a living. He is one of the nicest people you could ever meet. Ran into Nope. Somebody's been asking for Nope. So what do you think, man? You going into town for breakfast tomorrow?
It is time for breakfast.
Oh,
I'll probably hit
nice,
some McDonald's or something early in the morning.
I've been talking about Nope since Great Smoky Mountains, day 3, and this dude is a triple crowner.
Oh man, a constant sugar rush.
Yeah.
Anyway,
man, nice to see you again, brother. I'll see you in town tomorrow, dude. Take it easy.
I'll see you for breakfast.
His Instagram adventures are absolutely amazing. And he has a lot of experience. He is a triple crowner. He's hiked the PCT, the AT, the CDT. In fact, he's hiked the AT multiple times. He was stuck in the Sierras in a crazy blizzard and had survived. Just all-around good guy. Really, really feel bad about the mistake that I made. I judged somebody by some bad information that I'd received from a ridge runner and other thru hikers. So I'm throwing this story in as a really dumb mistake that I made when I was backpacking. You should never judge someone when you're backpacking. Obviously, keep your safety in mind. Be wary of others, but don't be a jerk. Don't be a closed-minded jerk. And that's just what I want to throw out in this video. So finally, that comes to my most craziest trip I've ever had in my entire life. And it doesn't have anything to do with the AT. It was again in the Great Smoky Mountains, though. On this trip, I had seen 2 bears, 2 rattlesnakes, a swarm of bees.
There's literally one right on the camera right now. They just won't leave me alone. But I'm definitely not staying here.
And it was just a crazy 4-day trip. And I was on day 3. I was going up the Nolan Divide Trail. I had gone the wrong way. I was up at around 18 miles, had planned 23, 25 for the day, and I had already added a couple extra miles, accidentally visiting a family cemetery that was straight uphill. I didn't see the sign because there was a couple people standing in front of it. Yeah, this is the cemetery. That sucks. Anyway, I was super tired, I was hungry, I was hot, I was sweaty, I was gross. It was day 3, I was getting out the next day. And I still had a long way to go to camp, right? I think I was probably 4 miles away from my shelter when this happened. I was walking on the Nolan Divide Trail. I just got done checking out an epic view. It was so awesome at the top of that mountain, and I was starting to head back down into tree line. Some hikers had come up before me from the other direction and warned me that there was a rattlesnake on the left side of the trail as I was heading into the trail. And I heard the rattlesnake as I got close, kept my distance, tried to get it on film, but I couldn't find it. And then not 30, 40 feet later, I encountered the problem. I'm in a little bit of a predicament now. I don't feel comfortable. Trail's right there. There was a giant adult rattlesnake on the side of the trail, and the problem was it was really, really angry with me. This was the second time hikers had disturbed it from its sun bath, and it was just not happy with me. Now, the problem here is, and typically I would just have a wide berth around the rattlesnake to give it plenty of room, and eventually they stop rattling and then you could proceed. The problem here was it was a stalemate. I could not go up the hill because of the straight incline and the tons and tons of rhododendron. I didn't want to kind of crawl through the rhododendron for fear that I'd be stuck and also step on something, maybe another rattlesnake was in there in the brush. I don't know, because sometimes rattlesnakes don't rattle is the problem. I couldn't go down because, again, there was rhododendron. It was pretty steep. We were on a little trail, probably about 2 people in width, without backpacks. So I had to make a decision. I waited there for a while just to see if it would move or stop rattling. I had kind of walked backwards and then walked forwards again. It was still rattling. It was very, very agitated at me. And so I had the bright idea to kind of just inch and turn and kind of make a run for it. Holy shit! And that was the dumbest thing that I've ever done. That could have ended really badly. But what happened is right when I got in line with the snake, it had snapped at me. It had lunged at me. And when I turned around, it was then almost in the middle of the trail upside down. It had tried to bite me for sure. I had so much adrenaline at that point that I think I managed to do like 4 miles an hour and reached camp within the hour. I just thought to myself how bad that could have been. Now, I did check my phone to kind of get my bearings on the nearest road crossing so I could flag down someone if needed, if I had a bite, to get to the nearest hospital. But still, I should have handled that situation way better, and I'm just glad I got through that unscathed. Now, I did ask in the comments when I posted the video if anyone had any advice, that, throw the comments out there, and I've gotten a lot of comments, and I'd love to share that with you so you can gain that knowledge. A few people had said to, throw some rocks, kind of stomp your feet, maybe it would move, maybe it would just kind of get away, slither down the trail, whatever. Another comment was to take a big stick or use your trekking pole to kind of move it off the trail. I still don't feel really comfortable doing that. I have no experience handling venomous snakes at that point. And one of the best comments I saw, it was commented once. They said, if you have a bear bag, which I did, you're obviously carrying some bear line. You could extend your trekking pole and wrap the line around both poles to kind of make a super pole, like a very, very long fishing pole type of trekking pole. You could then try to coerce it to move off the trail. And that's really what I should have done. And they said if that didn't work, you could have easily have took your backpack off and shielded your legs so that you would risk getting bit. But again, you need to really watch out for rattlesnakes, as I heard that they can lunge 3/4 the length of their entire body. And this guy was like this big round. It was gigantic. It was scary. It freaked me out. It was definitely a holy crap moment for me whenever I finally got past that snake. So, those are my 3 dumbest mistakes I've made backpacking. I'm sure there are probably hundreds of others, but hopefully you learned something from my mistakes and don't make the same thing in the future. Anyway, guys, I'm Frozen with Outdoor Adventures. If you like this video, please comment, share, and click that like button. Also remember to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when I post new content. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you on the trail.